The Walking Dead City of the Dead Season 2 is finally here. That is the fierce and bloodthirsty shadow of the army. The first appearance shocked many forces in Manhattan. But just one day ago, this domineering Negan, still a stepball, because he refused the solicitation of the ant. Negan has been locked up in a cell for months. Everyday partner, only Manhattan specialties, fried cockroaches, but even so, to clean up, Negan also needs to be alive. Just replenish some strength. So Krot goes to the cell and tries again. He hoped Negan would accept her invitation, although Maggie traded him for Herschel. But if you don't get Negan's refuge, it's very easy to catch Herschel again. Negan didn't answer. Just pick up the cockroach again and say no. Oh. Just how I like it. It is worth noting that these cockroaches are not props. At the end of the bed the scene, the director says it's a real cockroach. After filming, Negan, who learned the truth, the director who almost took out Lucille's emblem. I didn't get the answer I wanted. Crotter was furious. He doesn't know the man who used to be his idol. Why is there no fighting spirit at all now? Croat did as his aunt ordered. He brought Negan to him again. Crotter pulls out the map, telling Negan about the division of power in Manhattan. Ant wanted Negan to represent his gang, negotiate and cooperate with the other forces in the city. After all, their common enemy is new, Babylonian League. That's why Annie wants to recruit Negan. He admired Negan's fierceness and oratory. You can face the olive branch thrown by your aunt. Negan still chose to refuse. Andy had already expected Negan's answer, but he knew Negan's weakness. Wife and children. But now that they're en route to the island, I suppose you can make your preparations. Negan had a fierce look on his face when he heard this. He didn't expect his wife and daughter to be found by the other party. For their safety, you have no choice but to agree. So the familiar costume reappears. Negan changed into a leather jacket. Even Lucille was brought by Croat, this former little brother. But I really hope Negan will take him to the world again. He knows very well the savior. How was it built? Krot drove Negan to a place. Force camp. In the middle of a fence, two zombies are fighting. People around are screaming like crazy. This scene reminds me of a certain turn. The scene of Rugo fighting with zombies. Similar dueling arenas. Blue, the leader in the stands, watched with relish. Because the zombie he suppressed has won. He not only won the loser's supplies. There is also an area where he was born for a long time. Two gangs have arrived at the church and are waiting. They still don't understand Annie's intentions, until the main character Negan appeared. With Negan's entrance, turn on all the lights. He walked to the podium domineering. In order to celebrate with him, this cooperation must be reached. Thank you all for coming. From when I gather you all hate each other of guts. I gotta say I get it. I just walked in the door and I already hate you guys. It already knows the distribution of power in Manhattan. In order to pave the way for cooperation, he took a badge from his pocket. This is a Symbabylon Enforcer's badge. You and mocking zombies have occupied the world for more than 10 years. There are still people trying to control yourself with the law, and he thinks these laws are bullshit. It's just a means for some people to control people. Now, Shin, the Babylonian League has reached into Manhattan. If you want to continue to be free to do whatever you want in the city, you should let go of the feud between gangs. Continuing the infighting will only give them an opportunity. While Connigan was still giving a generous speech, other voices appeared below. Helpless, Negan's words haven't finished yet. This is Nike. He was angry when he lost to Blue just now. Now listen to Negan. Disdain on the face. We don't give a fuck about someone else's problem. In the face of Mike's provocation, did you speak? He turned his head and slowly looked at Krot. The other party also understands in seconds. Lucille looked at the familiar Lucille in her hands. Negan also showed his signature smile. You know better, to keep these outlaws quiet. He had to kill the marshal. Although he is tired of fighting. But for the sake of my wife and children, he had no choice. I'm gonna fight because I say so. Get that fucking thing.
Get that post-apocalyptic.
Lucille was even transformed into an electric baton. Mike was caught off guard and fell to the ground by electricity. Men who want to riot, also suppressed by the ants people. After leeway, you continued to perform. If the three factions are jointly commanded, better control of Manhattan. When the time comes, it will be produced. City computer, and the modified vehicles and ammunition they contributed. Strong alliance. It's not so easy for New Babylon to come in. Right now there are only two paths for them. Or choose to cooperate, or accept power outages and ready to explode bombs. The meaning of Negan's threat at this moment. The ferocity is also revealed. Even the bottomed factions are still unwilling, but still accepted cooperation. After all, Ents methane technology. They are also very courageous. Doomsday World energy is everything. Shin, the Babylonian League wanted this technology. They have started to clean up the surrounding small forces to supply the next attack on Manhattan. And this time, they targeted Maggie, the hilltop village where it is located. Chief Inspector Lee came to recruit in a peaceful manner. You can see their heavily armed posture, obviously not giving Maggie and others a chance to disagree. Residents protested Charlie's decision. They know they will only be cannon fodder for the attack. The resistance of the hilltop village people. Charlie is also expected. He publicly hanged a man from deserters from other communities. This move really stopped them from being restless. Maggie is full of anger. But there's a lot of people. For the sake of his son and the community, he can only endure now. But Maggie had an anxious sheriff, Pearlie. I also found him quietly after the fact. Pearlie knew that Maggie had been to Manhattan, familiar with the terrain and environment inside. He tried to persuade Marky to join the operation, but Marky knew. Sim Babylon wants a million energy. He didn't want to get involved. But Pearlie told Marky, the pest has arrived. If there is no new energy development, crops and medical care, whether it's New Babylon or Hilltop Station, will be taken away by this disaster in the end. A hilltop station formerly suitable for growing crops. There are no particles now. It can save this disaster. Only when new sources of energy emerge. It's ready to go, practically unlimited. It'll fuel power grids. Give us back technology and medicine. People wouldn't have to die of infection or the flu. And I'm not just talking about my people. Your people. After everyone thought about it, Marky also made a deal with Pearlie. As long as he goes to fight on the top of the mountain by himself, everyone else must be exempt from the signs. Pearlie didn't directly promise Marky. Instead, he turned around and reported the matter to Charlie. Although Pearlie's tyranny towards Charlie, I have long been disgusted. But in order to provide a stable environment for his wife and daughter, still have to keep doing things. After all, new energy, more people will benefit. After learning that Marky had been to Manhattan, Charlie also agreed to waive other people's conditions. Herschel on the other side, knowing that my mother is going to Manhattan again, I am very determined not to want him to continue to be suspected. But Marky didn't explain that much. The horse chicken was soon brought before Charlie, and to test the horse. Does a chicken really have the strength to go to Manhattan alone? The horse chicken was taken to an iron fence. Inside are dozens of zombies. With the lingo of female officers, call for volunteers to join the army. He's not finished yet. Ginny's figure has arrived in front of Maggie. Although Pearlie and Maggie tried to stop it. But Charlie really admired Ginny. Another man opens the fence and lets Ginny in. Ginny knew Negan was still in Manhattan, so he went looking for Negan this time, to keep Ginny from getting hurt. And Maggie accompanies him to the fence. Elite is still too young. He was still accidentally knocked down by a zombie. In the end, Maggie was driving in front of the zombies. Come to the rescue, with the combined efforts of the two. All funerals were wiped out. Although the assessment passed, but Maggie still doesn't want Ginny involved. But Ginny was adamant. She has to find Negan. Herschel, who was informed of this result. You also want to go to Manhattan, but was severely rejected by Maggie. Herschel mocks his mother for wanting to go to Manhattan. Is there any other purpose? He thinks his mother wants to go back to Manhattan because of Negan. Guilt for trading Negan for himself. That's what you shatter is finished. I thought we were getting better, but you just keep holding on. This has nothing to do with Legion. The horse chicken doesn't know his own son either. Come out from Auntie. Then the temperament changed dramatically, until he dug up Herschel's painting. Only the ant's appearance makes the horse chicken creepy. He just couldn't figure it out. What did this woman do to her son? In the end, Herschel's still compromised. Watch Ginny and Maggie leave the Peak Station. But would Herschel really stay here? So honestly?